while, I thought I would teach you a method for answering yes/no questions with the cards. There are a couple different reasons why I love this method. One is that it doesn't give you just a all yes or all no. There's a gray area, and that can be one of the pitfalls of cut and dry yes/no questions and readings, is because there isn't enough wiggle room for the cards to, or the pendulum or what have you, to give you the bigger picture. In this, there's a bit of wiggle room. It sort of gives you a yes, no, maybe, or a degree of probability of whatever you're asking about happening. And so I really like it for that reason. The other reason is that you can, or at least the way I do it, you can add a little bit of extra information in if you do read tarot or you do read playing cards. But if you do not read cards at all, you can absolutely still use this method because you can get your yes, no, or maybe. If you're a more advanced reader, then you can get a little more information. But if you don't read at all, but you have a deck, you can do a yes, no reading like this. You don't have to memorize card meanings or look up card meanings. It is very straightforward and to the point. Now, I was first introduced to this as a tarot reading, and where I came across it was in Barbara Moore's book on tarot spreads. And in that book, she credits the spread, the original method for getting yes no answers this way, she credits the original to Mary K. Greer. Now, I have sort of taken this and made it my own, so I'll be showing you the method that Barbara Moore credits to Mary K. Greer, but I'm going to show you how I added onto it with the tarot. And then I'm also going to show you, I have discovered that even though this was designed for tarot, I find that it works quite well with playing cards as well. So we're going to go over that too. But we're going to start off with the tarot. We're going to start off with the original version. For this, you are going to need to take the majors out of your deck. You're going to need to set them aside. We will not be using them for this method. We are using the minors only, aces through kings. We're going to give them a good shuffle while we focus on our question. And whenever you feel that you have shuffled them enough that it's time to stop, you go ahead and stop. Then, this is going to be a little hard for me to do because I have to do it upside down, but we're going to start dealing. We're going to make 3 piles of cards, and each pile you're going to put cards down until you get to 13 or you get to an ace. So, here is our first pile. 1, 2, I gotta remember to put them upside down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got to the 13th card. Now we start our second pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So no ace, but we got to 13, so we move on to our final pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in this case, our answer would be a pretty clear no. If there are no aces at all, then our answer is a pretty clear no. There's really not a lot that you can do or that would change this outcome. While nothing is ever written in stone, because we do have free will and we have choice, this one, there's not really much you can do to change this outcome. So let's pick these up and shuffle again, so that I can show you again what happens when we actually get aces. It's very rare that we get no aces or 3 aces. Usually it's 1 or 2 aces in these readings. But in that particular case, we got no aces, and so that was a pretty clear no. So let's start again just so you guys can see how to do this. We start with our first pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we've got an ace. So we stop there for this pile. Once we get an ace or the 13th card, we move on to the next pile. So 1, ace right off the bat, we're going to stop there. Go to the third pile, oh, ace again. So this is actually freaky as all get out because, like I said, it's very rare to get all aces or no aces at all. But if you get 3 aces like this, then that is as definite of a yes as you can get. Again, nothing is written in stone, but this is as much of a yes as you can get, as close to certainty as you can get. Now, let's say that we had gotten a stack here. We're just going to pretend there was 13 here, then no ace in this pile. So if you get 2 aces, it's relatively certain. It is not guaranteed, but things are definitely tipping in the direction of a yes. And with a little bit of effort, you should really be able to swing it in your favor, generally speaking. We don't live in a bubble. Other people are very often involved in our lives and what's going on. So if somebody else makes a drastic change in their path, it could affect you. But this is pretty certain. It's definitely headed towards a yes. A very good indicator that the outcome you're asking about will happen. Now, let's say that the only ace we got was the Ace of Swords. In this case, it's very unlikely. You could do a lot of work, like a whole lot of work, and try to change this outcome, but it's going to be an uphill battle, and it's not a guarantee that you can change it. But like I said, our fates aren't fixed. So this is leaning definitely towards no, but with a lot of work, you might be able to change the outcome. Now, that is the straightforward, that is Barbara Moore and Mary Kay Greer's version of this spread. I have found that for myself personally, if I get a no like this, where there's only one ace, where it's really heavily leaning towards no, I can look at these 2 cards and interpret the meanings of these together and sort of get an idea or a picture of maybe why it's leaning towards no, or what the querent can do to try to shift it more towards yes, or the outcome that they want. The same thing, and I think I put my aces where, okay, so, and then again, if you get 2, you can still read this 3rd card for a little additional information. If you get no aces, you could look at those 3 cards and see if they give you a message as to why it is little to no chance that it's going to happen. And if you get all aces, then you don't really get any additional information because you've got 3 aces telling you that it's very much going in that direction. But you can interpret these cards that aren't aces in the spread in order to try to get some additional information as to why it is the way it is, or what the querent can do to get the outcome that they want. So that is this method with tarot. That is how to do it for just the yes, no, or maybe answer, and how you can do it to get a little more information if you do happen to read the cards or already have the card meanings memorized. So that is the tarot version. But like I said, I also found that I could do this with playing cards, and it worked just as well as using the tarot cards. Now, hopefully, we can get these to not be quite so bright as we do this. But you're just using a standard deck of 52 cards. And basically, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the tarot cards, but we're doing it with 52 cards instead of 56 cards. Because really, the only difference is we don't have 4 court cards. We only have 3 court cards per suit in a playing card deck. And I have found that the 4 cards not being in this deck does not hamper using the playing cards just as accurately as the tarot cards for this method. So again, shuffle them while you think of your question, and then you're going to lay them down in 3 piles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got an ace, so we stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got an ace, so we stop there. Now, I just flipped that card around so that it looks okay for y'all, but it does not matter whether your cards are reversed or upright for this, because for the most part, we're not worrying about that. That's only if you're a more advanced reader and you use reversals. Otherwise, everything is upright, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So just like the tarot, we've got 2 aces. That means this is really looking like a yes. It's very much leaning in that direction. Won't take much but a nudge to really push it over in that direction and ensure that it goes that way. At least the way things look at this moment. Again, no aces is as an absolute no as you can get. 3 aces is as much as a yes as you can get, as much as a it will definitely happen as you can possibly get. 2 aces, it's really leaning in that direction. 1 ace, very minimal chance of it happening. It's really leaning towards no, and it's going to be a real uphill battle for you to change that outcome. Again, just like with the tarot, if you happen to read playing cards, then you could interpret whatever card that is not an ace in the layout and see if that gives you some insight as to why you are getting the answer you're getting, or maybe what the querent could do to change the outcome if it's something that they would want to work to change. So just like the tarot, and like I said, I have found that this works just as well with playing cards as it does with tarot cards. So if you don't have a tarot deck, if you don't read cards at all, you can grab a deck of playing cards and do this yes-no method and answer some yes-no questions for yourself. And again, always be careful, because yes-no questions tend to just lead to more questions, and they can be a little misleading sometimes, especially if we don't word our question the best. So, but they're good for like confirming something. If your intuition is telling you something, they're great for like doing this really quick and confirming what your intuition is telling you, or what you think your intuition is telling you, or what you think is going on in a situation. They're really great for like confirming that, or they're a great starting point for you to ask a few yes-no questions and then decide what you need a bigger, more in-depth reading on. Whether you're doing that yourself, or maybe you want to do this first for yourself and then consult your favorite tarot reader for a larger reading about what came out of the yes-no questions that you asked. They can be used in that way too. If you like yes-no questions, I do have a printable PDF that I sell in my Etsy shop that shows you several more ways to do yes-no questions with tarot cards and playing cards. So you can check that out. I'll put a link in the description for this box. If for whatever reason you don't have a playing card deck or a tarot deck, or you just don't feel it's something you want to read on for yourself, I do offer yes, no, maybe so readings in my Etsy shop. I offer this exact reading, and I also offer a few other options. One that does a pendulum and a card, and I also do a yes, no, maybe dice reading as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And like I said, this is great for people who are already reading or people who don't read at all. This is something that anyone can do, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. And until the next video, blessings.